So we just saw Ghostbusters. Don't kill us! Oh my god, don't kill us! We might have opinions about it. Please don't hurt us. We might like it, we might not. We know you already decided, but by god, don't kill us! Don't kill us in the comment section! Oh my god!
You finished.
I'm really stuck back here. This might be tricky. Oh! I didn't know I was gonna go back here, but I just kind of owned it.
Yeah, we're in the haunted basement right now.
Yeah.
So Doug didn't think ahead, and it's dark out.
I thought that couch would move a little bit. So yeah, we can't do it at Rod's place because he has company over, so we're just doing it in my.
I got my in-laws in town. They were
in my basement that I never use.
My wife and my niece and my sister-in-law are watching Kiki. Kiki's delivery service. I think they may have traded up a bit.
Ghostbusters can go and zap her right down. So I mean this.
So first off, let's get this out of the way. Let's elephant in the room. Our mom, raging misogynist. It turns out.
Oh, and she had the best reaction to this movie.
So
this does not reflect our reaction,
my
this
dad,
is great.
We saw it all together, and so my dad really wanted to see it, and he brought my mom with, and. Because I don't know, did she really want, or no, she did want to see it.
I have no idea.
So, okay, so he's like, well, I thought it was harder, and my mom just behind
we're all kind of talking
getting
about
up out of the chair, like trying to pick up her drink off the floor or whatever, the thing of popcorn, you can just hear her I thought it sucked! She just gets up and goes, and then she gets up and looks at us, and Doug and I are just like, well, what in particular bothered you? It just sucked!
She just exploded on, just sucked! It's like, oh, what, some of the ride? It just sucked! It sucked! That's all
the only
she could say.
The only thing I liked about it was the original music!
Which I think everyone universally hates as well.
Yeah.
Anything attached to this film, everybody either hates or loves.
Yeah, so Rage, I swear to God, I overheard her say as we were literally let's go home and watch the original.
Our mom totally hates it. You can call her a misogynist, which is great. We all clearly knew misogynist.
Yes, she's it's so funny because she's so,
not that.
Yeah, between my dad and my mom, I think we both know who really runs the show when it comes down to it. She's a very strong German woman. Woman of German stock.
So I think we should talk a little bit about it, because obviously we know the one side where if you say the movie's bad, you're a misogynist, and before then we had the other side
that's
where
true, right?
Yeah, no, it was before we had the other side where if you say, that movie looks good, it might be okay. You're betraying the original. You have you hate Ghostbusters. You have no idea what Ghostbusters is, and you're a terrible person. There is no in between. Before you even watch this video, people have decided whether or not they're going to agree with us or not.
Are you done, internet? Are you happy now? Was it fun for you? Because I can tell you, watching this kind of from the outside, because I did not involve myself in almost any of these conversations, y'all look like a bunch of fucking idiots.
I always say
what's so funny is, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of this film in certain areas, but when it's all said and done, this is the most fucking harmless, forgettable fluff that I can't believe people wasted their goddamn time debating this, and with such here's
the thing.
Nasty about it, too.
We're paid to have no lives. We're paid to go and get angry and, this hates me, when really we're going off with our families and our friends and stuff.
That's the problem.
That.
Maybe they just...
What's your excuse? The quote-unquote controversy. This is controversy.
But it's
so ridiculous.
Because it raped my childhood. I had the same fucking childhood, and you know what? I could just throw on 84 Ghostbusters any day.
As I always say...
This movie does nothing to really, tarnish that.
As I always say,
I'll just forget about it.
If you're gonna let a movie ruin your childhood, you never had a childhood. Yes. Childhood was plucked away the second you said, my childhood, gone. If anyone could destroy that, you had the worst childhood.
It only works if you have some insane sob story about how my dad beat me every day and my mom died of cancer when I was 4 years old, and
somebody put that in the comments.
Yeah. And the last thing we watched together was Ghostbusters. And it is the only solid memory I have. It's then!
No.
Only then!
No, even that person would be like, what do you think of the new movie? What do I care? I can put on the original.
Yeah.
That's what they would say! I've been through a lot harder shit, okay? It's like...
So, there was so much dumb all around. I mean, it started with that random group of, like, 5 nuts who are just, hey, these movies get broads in it. I can't watch this. And then, of course, why do we keep letting these guys hijack the argument? I feel like at some point, if you just, like, ignore it, like, I feel like we just keep giving them a sounding board. Anytime you react to it, they've got to be sitting there going, oh, sweet, attention.
In my opinion, it started as soon as everyone said, you know what would be a really good idea? Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast.
I know, right?
2 was so amazing. Just when you thought it couldn't get better than Ghostbusters 1, they did it again. Literally, they did the same fucking movie again, even though it made no sense, and it was awful.
You know what I want to see?
And if you like it, fine. I have kind of a soft spot for it, I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I want to see?
But it's
Bill
awful.
Murray at 102 with his face that now looks like a used catcher's
I want to see
hobbling around with Dan Aykroyd, who...
Yeah,
I mean...
Ernie Hudson going... It's like, what...
Oh, no, Ernie Hudson could still kick our ass. He's the only one who still looks good. Fucking seeing Annie Potts in this movie, like, all of them. I'm just like, I do not want to see a movie with them. And I don't know how old they are, but it's like the Star Trek movies. After Star Trek 6, it's like, we're done.
You know what? We're the same people that said we want more Star Wars movies from Lucas and we want Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. When have we been wrong? When have we been wrong? Guys.
So that started, and there's still
you really don't.
Whiny fanboys like, I'm gonna Ghostbusters 3.
It's like they got all their complaints ready for Ghostbusters 3. They were ready to hate it, even though they're pretending like they're gonna like it. They're gonna hate it. It's like, oh, you didn't get it. And that's what pissed them off. So it's when you find out they're doing something totally different.
And then Harold Ramis, Rick Moranis quits acting, and Harold Ramis is dead. And we're still like, well, I just have to get my Ghostbusters 3.
He could be the ghost that they chase.
Yeah. Okay, so the time for Ghostbusters 3 would have been at least minimum 10 years ago or more. So we were well past that point.
Yeah.
So that kickstarted, and then of course, if you don't want to see the movie for a number of legitimate reasons,
very legit reasons.
Well, you're a misogynist.
Yeah.
Now.
Then
so that was the
How can you think that trailer looked awful? It just, every line, perfect bullseye, just beauty. Every single line just got a laugh out of me. Just phenomenal work. So internet, you fucked up. You're crazy.
Jerk said one thing, people backlashed even worse, and of course there's the backlash against the backlash.
That's what we're doing right now.
The backlash against the backlash against the backlash, and point being, this movie is not great, but it's not even the worst fucking thing in the world. It just exists, and like we wasted so much time talking about this, and it wasn't even fucking worth it.
We should probably say what we thought about the movie. It's okay. That's really it. Is it worth it? Was that worth it? Was that worth all the anger and whatever the fuck you were trying to harass people over or shove your opinion down? I mean,
did you have a good time?
Yeah, was it good for you? Because it was awkward and sloppy for me. It felt very forced.
I do know. There's a bunch of trolls out there probably smoking a cigarette right now, going, oh, yeah, it was so worth it.
With their mothers saying, are you still on that computer?
Shut up, Mom!
When are you gonna get a job? I am not. Just let me look up my avatar porn. Oh, you know. That's what they're doing. And then the other half is just on Tumblr saying, what can I get offended by today? No. Ooh!
No, I mean, feel free to call me a raging misogynist, but I actually
feel free to call me a betraying the original.
Yeah, I actually really liked the women in this film a lot, and didn't really so much like the movie around them that much. I'm a misogynist. I'm sorry.
I think
I thought they were great. I thought overall they were great. There's some problems in the writing with some of their characterizations we'll go into later maybe, but but their acting's fine. It's actually like, I'm not a giant Melissa McCarthy fan, and she was definitely toned down for this, which...
Yeah, so I'm the
you didn't like that.
I like Melissa McCarthy. I thought just something about the way she talked, it talked a little bit too much with her teeth, and it just was grating on me a little bit.
Her style of comedy is very... God, I would use the word broad. You know what it reminds me of? It's like Chris Farley, who Chris Farley, I have no...
People always want to say, he's a genius, he was phenomenal. People forget. He was like, when you want just the lowbrow piece of shit comedy, you went to see one of his movies.
Here's the thing, like, Chris Farley...
he was talented and amazing.
Chris Farley was very talented, and I, like, as a person, I know he died tragically, like, as a person, I feel like, it would have been interesting knowing him. It seemed like he had a nice heart deep down, and that's very sad, and I don't think Melissa McCarthy is in any of that trope, but she's one of those where it's just like, I like her, it seems, as a person, and I think she's really talented. It's just that style of comedy she tends to end up in is just not my style. Like, it has nothing to do with her.
I lean more away from that. I like more the, I like her in Spy. I like her when she plays kind of a different role.
And Spy is the one I haven't seen, and I really want to see now.
I did legitimately really like her in Heat. I thought she was hilarious.
I did actually enjoy her in Heat.
She really works in the Heat.
But a lot of the other ones she does, I'm not a huge... So I liked her in this fine. I know you were kind of like, it wasn't doing much for me.
But I mean, I'm not going to be like, can you like her? I get it. I mean, for me, it's not even really them. It seems very much like... The opening of this movie is the perfect way to sum it. This movie starts strong. Like, immediately it was sucking me in. Like, I'm gonna like this. And it's built up, you got some good comedy. Then the ghost in the place. This guy falls, he turns around, the ghost is getting closer. You're hearing the music. As it's getting closer to the guy. I'm like, oh my god. We saw this in IMAX, in 3D, with great sound. We're just like, yeah, like... this might actually work. I'm really getting into it. And here comes cut to outside the building, then cut to the city. Ghostbusters, normal font, just while the music's playing. And it's like,
there was something about...
Don't you know how to do this? You cut to the logo. You cut to a cool CG shot or something awesome, because you have this incredible build-up, not just outside the building and boring-ass font for Ghostbusters.
There was something kind of sad about the way that they waited on the Ghostbusters chorus, and it kind of played at the end. It was kind of like, Ghostbusters! And it just kind of faded off. I'm like,
So that's the movie to me, is that you have something really funny, really great, really clever, really creative, then something that's directly from the trailer. Like, there's that shitty trailer. It's something unfunny and not inspired and boring and dull and just sucks the life out of it.
It's like that old Animaniacs sketch. Now it's time for another good idea, bad idea.
And they just run back and forth.
The whole movie is like that.
The whole thing.
Anytime I'd start getting wrapped up in it, then it would do something really like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so it's... Really, the funny thing about it is that, I mean, I don't know how many of his movies you've seen. This really is, if you want the perfect description, it's Paul Feig does Ghostbusters. That is exactly what it is. I know it's like, well, no, that's what it says in the credits. It plays exactly like that. Some of the improv works, some of it doesn't. Some of the characters are, like, hilarious. Then they'll have a joke that just really falls apart. Some parts of the story are actually really clever and kind of smart, and there are parts it's like, why was that there? That was totally pointless. So I like Paul Feig for the most part. I haven't seen a bad film from him, but the only great one I've seen from him is The Heat. In my opinion, they're always kind of hit and miss, but for the most part, I like them okay, and that's kind of where I am with this film too. It's just that style.
It just, as a story, it was just pretty straightforward. This kind of just was a mess. It kind of jumps around in places. There's like this scene where okay, my biggest problem is, one thing you can't accuse the first Ghostbusters script of being, because I don't get into this game of like, it's the perfect movie. It's so perfect. I don't believe in a perfect movie. Philosophically speaking, I'm against saying something's perfect, because I have the Japanese sort of sense that imperfection, like, is something you find in nature, and that itself is perfection. So there's always little imperfect things. The script, though, to the first one is really tight. Like, you can argue that, it doesn't make any sense sometimes.
Yeah, but again, a lot of Murray's improv helped the comedy.
Yeah, like, it felt like, I'm always amazed, by the time they get to Gozer, I'm always amazed, like, wow, we got here fast.
Yeah.
This felt like a slog to get to that climax. A climax that has some really cool things sometimes, but also, again, like every fucking movie climax nowadays goes on too long.
You want an example, actually, of you said about a perfect movie, because honestly, Ghostbusters was kind of the perfect movie for me, and honestly, we can never capture it again. We are never going to get Ghostbusters again.
But it's perfect.
People wanted Ghostbusters 3, let it go. You will never get Ghostbusters again. It really was lightning in a bottle. It worked for kids, it works for adults, it's stupid, it's smart. It will never happen happen again.
Okay,
like
but is
that.
is it a flawless movie?
No. And here's how
And that's the difference.
And this is what this movie...
people get confused when they say it's a perfect movie.
People in the comments are really gonna hate me for this. This movie actually did make me realize the flaws of the original, because when we got to that climax, and the climax honestly is, again, kind of hit and miss, but they break out their new items. You can now punch a ghost. You can now use it as a whip. You can take them, you can flip them around. They're ducking and doing these flips and using these cool new devices, these new things. I just realized the action in the first film, as creative and how I was with those guys and everything, what do? They point a stick. And you know what the climax is? The big revolutionary thing at the end? They point the sticks together. That is ridiculous. And again, that's a testament to how well those actors work and how great everybody works off each other and the effects and everything, but that is stupid. And I think that's something that this film does that I think sort of adds something new that I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. I'm actually liking this okay. And it is very much, we should point out very much, it is a reboot. It is not a sequel in any way. The commercials lied to you, flat out lied to you. They said, years ago, 4 scientists came together and they stopped this apocalypse. Now 4 more scientists, and it's total lies. It is a total 100% reboot.
I will say this, having seen the movie, and I would say I'd give it maybe a solid like C+, maybe a B- if I'm
I'm about on the same route, yeah.
Regardless, this will go down in history as one of the worst marketed films ever in the annals and anals of cinema. I mean, people, I am serious, Sony. People need to be fired. People need to be fired. People may need to be executed. Thrown into a fiery pit over this marketing campaign.
Did you see the new one where it's like, they're quoting, I think it was like New York Times or something like that, saying the movie, dazzles and sparkles and, the girls in this movie are awesome. Get over it. It's like,
my God.
Do you internet at all?
Girls rule. Get over it.
Do you internet at all? Do you have any knowledge of how to deal with a troll or any of this? That is 100% the wrong thing to do. And yes, this has been horribly advertised. And they just really took all the worst parts of the movie.
Yeah,
it's like,
they literally,
half of it is funny, half of it's not. They took all the not.
There was all of the things I found funny in this film. Not a single fucking one was in the trailer. All of the things that I thought were kind of unfunny in this film all ended up in the trailers.
Yeah.
I've never seen I mean, it is nowhere near as bad as it looks.
No.
There are moments that are as bad as it looks, but that's not the whole frickin' movie.
There's definitely times where I'm like, oh, well, there's the trailer.
And then the trailer, the cast had no personality, no charisma. It was like a black hole of charisma. I'm just like, this looks awful. And they are really likable, a lot of fun to watch in the movie. It's kind of everything else that's built around them that is the problem. Just what the fuck, Hollywood marketing people?
Yeah, no, it was very, very painful.
But okay, so my biggest problem, like the pacing, it was a tight script in the first one. And in this one, like, so they test out these weapons. I'm like, okay, this is a cool scene because they got new weapons.
Yeah.
But I have no sense of panic, no sense of dread, no sense of what even is really going on that I'm supposed to be afraid of. The villain is completely forgettable.
Really bad.
Like, laughably forgettable. I thought he was being possessed, and I'm just like...
Yeah, we're hoping, like, somebody's gonna jump out of this guy. It's like, oh, there's the real villain, but it's like, nope. I mean, he does possess other people, but it's like, it's really just an a-hole guy, that's it.
Yeah, and...
Not funny, not interesting.
So there's never that, and that's one thing that the 84 version did well, is it gave you a sense of what was at stake. The speeches about what's going to happen, meeting the mayor, which is now played for some sort of
is there even
goofy
a point
laugh
to the first one? I mean, nothing's going to top
No, I'll tell you why there's a point comparing it to the first one, because the fucking movie itself keeps comparing it to the first one.
Good point. Stay Puffy is kind of in this.
Okay, and this is, you know what? Okay, this is my problem. I get it. I see the little girls with the proton packs, and it's cute.
That picture of that girl looking up at Kristen Wiig,
and it's adorable.
That is inspiring.
and that's great. And I think the 4 female Ghostbusters are fine. I don't have a problem with that. What bothers me is there was so much defense laid over this film about the fact that it's a female Ghostbuster and they should be allowed to do their own thing, and we're doing it for girls this time. We're gonna have a female Ghostbusters. That's fine. What Hollywood or what Sony or what everybody involved in this film did they pulled kind of a fast one on all the people who wanted to see a female Ghostbusters and wanted something for themselves, because they managed to somehow throw in all of these references to the other movie, and what is, for the most part, I think kind of the exact same plot. I thought at first, oh, we're gonna dance around this but not really do the same thing. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And yet somehow they managed to do everything exactly the same again.
It's not quite insultingly...
Not insultingly bad, but they keep there's references, they throw in the same lines from the other script. Oh, mass hysteria.
Some of the lines, I mean, it's...
The technicals don't bother me. You can say classified full roaming vapor. I'm like, that's fine. You know, they throw in all these other things, and then, just to add insult to injury, they throw in all of the actors from the original in this supposed reboot of Ghostbusters. It's Bill Murray, only this time he's playing a skeptic. Oh, hey, look, it's Ernie Hudson. Hey, look, there's Sigourney Weaver.
The best one is Harold Ramis. Can we agree? That was the only legitimate
That one actually worked.
That really worked. I thought that was very clever, and I was just like, hell yeah, that was awesome.
And the real sad part is when this movie, for the most part, I mean, there's a couple things that came up with on its own that I don't think were that brilliant, but for the most part, when this movie was really doing its own thing, I thought it was on.
Yeah,
and then you would
that's
have
when I liked it.
The first moment that really pissed me off was like Bill Murray shows up, because I'm suddenly reminded, and this is part of the problem with the film, is I'm reminded that we don't have a Bill Murray type in this movie. I'm not talking about, we need Bill Murray because I need a man in my movie, or is he going to be a ghost? No, I'm just talking about that type of character who is snarky and looking at this with that sort of smug indifference that plays off the other ones.
The kind of wild hair has a little bit of it, but yeah, you're right. She's not the mouth. There's always like the heart, the brains, the mouth, and Winston. just Winston, the guy to explain it.
And the who plays the main character in this?
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig seems perfectly talented, and she plays it straight. But they gave her no personality, zero. Like there's this whole thing about like they try to insert somebody like, well, I used to believe in ghosts because I was haunted as a kid or something, and that goes nowhere.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I do a little bit. I think she has a little bit. Like you said, she is the straight one. She's the squeamish. She's the one that always gets slimed when everyone else gets off clean. You know, it's like so. I think you're right.
I know what they're trying to do. They're too scared. They're like, oh, we have 3 really crazy characters who are fun to watch. This is overkill. But that's why the other film gave us Venkman. He managed to be a character that was crazy in his own way while also being the straight guy compared to the rest of them. Until Winston comes along, and he's even straighter than Venkman. I didn't get that here. When Bill Murray shows up, it's like you were saying earlier, it made it clear. It automatically made me compare it to the first Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. And then when they keep showing up again and again, or when they keep hitting the same frickin' notes, it's like, oh, well, they're gonna bust a ghost like they did at the hotel, except this time it's a stage show. But look, there's that kind of wormy guy who was like the hotel manager, only now he's a manager at the... It's like, I feel like this was some sort of Ghostbusters fan fiction.
I feel very much it was like Hollywood saying, look, we got them in. Is that okay? Is that okay? And that's not what you want to do. You want to just own it. And I think when it owned it was fun. It was not the original Ghostbusters, but I don't want it to be the original Ghostbusters.
And it may not have, this may be one of those things where it's, depending on what you think of a Paul Feig comedy or whatever, it may have never been great, but I'll tell you, all of those references to the first movie and just doing the first movie again made it worse.
Yeah.
I find it... one last thing.
Go ahead.
I find it ironic and a little insulting because, like, if that's what you want, ladies, like, hand-me-downs and just a repeat of the first film, that's fine, but I would demand more. Because I'd be like, we got the 1984 film, then we get Ghostbusters 2, which is the 1984 film all over again.
Just bad.
Yeah, and now we get this film, which is the 1984 film kind of all over again. Just we changed a few more things, and they're women, and great, they're women, but the rest of the film's still Ghostbusters all over.
It's still
is
something...
Ghostbusters reboot now going to be Ghostbusters 2 again? Are they going to fight a painting? Like, what?
I was going to say, it's going to be hard to see, because I know they want to turn into like a Ghostbusters universe, and it's like, it's just, you're going to be using the same outline every single time. It's like, 4 people come together, they have their personalities, nobody believes them, they get some ghosts, then everything's building to one giant fuck you, and some giant something or other is going through the city, and they have to do something to send them all, make them all go away.
Just feel like if you're not going to really stretch yourself and think out of the box after, what is it, 30 years now?
But let's be honest.
30 years?
You know that they did, in my opinion, they did more than I thought they were going to with this movie. I really thought it was going to be line for line, word for word, here we go. And they're
if it was that, I would have walked out.
Yeah, but no.
I would have been like, this is absolutely pointless. I like right now we're at kind of
yeah, I like that these 4 are kind of their own unique, team. It's like you can definitely recognize the original, but for me it was just different enough that I'm like, I'm not quite insulted by this. I'm actually with it okay. Honestly,
their characters
honestly,
are the
I could watch
graces.
this again. I could watch this again. And I could be like, I could watch the points where I go, oh, stupid.
I could, I could
hear
easily,
these lines again and watch
I could
these
easily
characters.
watch this again on TV where I could fast forward through the dub bits.
Yes, I
would not. I don't know if I would want to go see in the cinema again because that climax was just such a fucking clusterfuck. That climax. Okay, here's another thing. That climax was worthy of any dumb guy's comic book flavor. Like, it reminded me of Batman versus Superman. Because I'm like, this is just some mindless, colory explosion thing that goes on for 20 minutes with, once again, just like Batman versus Superman, how Wonder Woman had like this kick-ass scene. Like, their version of, I'm trying to remember their damn names. The character names.
No, I know. I
had a hard time remembering.
Wild card, just call her that.
I wonder actually if people had this problem with the 84 film because when you first saw it, the names are so weird.
Yeah, it's like, who are they again? And now we know Peter Venkman and all this other stuff.
But their version of Egon, first off, was it Chris... What's her name?
Oh, Kristen Wiig.
No, not Kristen Wiig.
Chris Hemsworth? The secretary?
No, not the secretary. the one who played the version of Egon, the goggles girl.
Okay, her.
Her. Okay, well, thanks. Okay, you're no help. You see more movies than me. I thought you would know. She's
SNL. She's not in many movies.
Anyway, she was amazing. I thought she was the best damn thing in the movie. And she has like this kick-ass scene where she's like throwing around some sort of proton whip, and I'm like, okay, that was amazing. And it just cuts back to the rest of this stupid fucking climax that goes on forever. And then it does this thing where they go through the portal and try to pull people out, and like, I'm like, okay, that was really cool. Again, it's like good idea, bad idea, good idea, bad idea. Yeah,
it constantly goes back and forth throughout the whole thing. But I mean, honestly, sort of the thoughts that I think people had and the lowered expectation. We saw this with your cousin, and it was he said, the bar was set so low. My
brother-in-law. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
He put it. He's like, well, my expectations were so lowered that I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I think, here's my thought. I think if you're going into it, it's like, I'm going to hate this, you're going to hate it. If you're going in thinking, it's going to be the greatest thing ever, it's going to be really good. If you're going in and you're kind of undecided and you don't know, I think you'll think it's okay. You'll groan, but you'll definitely laugh a few times. If you're not open to it at all, it's not going to sway you. You'll find stuff to be annoyed by very easily.
I made the frickin' mistake of thinking maybe I was going to get something fresh out of this, and man, did I fuck up.
I should never have. But again, when they do something
fresh,
that's
it's
the best
good
stuff.
But then it keeps it's like somebody keeps like giving you a donut and then punching you in the arm after you take a couple bites, and then this keeps happening. It's like every time I'm kind of like, oh, this is good. It's like, ow!
This is another one of those movies where you feel like there was a really good writer and a really bad writer. Just constantly.
And I don't know who's who.
Yeah,
I think Feig was one of them.
Feig was one of them. Some other person I don't know was the other writer. And I have no idea. I'm not even saying that's it. I'm not saying that's it at all. I'm saying that's what it feels like. Like there's always somebody trying to do something really new and really cool, and then either one of the writers or Sony is like, we hate comments, come back, do the original movie. And it's like, no, don't do that. That was 2's mistake. I think it's about as 50-50 as you can get on a movie.
I don't know. I just feel like... Again, what's the point of all this? I just, between
they
the
want to do their
debates
MCU universe with Ghostbusters, which is such a weird film to do it with.
But I mean, when you talk like, okay, like Dan Aykroyd's original script was apparently fucking insane.
Let's be honest. Even Ghostbusters, the original, is kind of fucking insane.
It was apparently fucking insane, but like when you listen to some of the ideas, I'm like, wow, there is a treasure trove to work with. And now we're still on the same story 30 years later. I mean, okay, I know a lot of people like shit on the Abrams Trek reboot. Like, and I get it. I know why some people don't like, it's more of an action film, this, that. One thing I will not accuse that reboot of, at least in the first one, is being unoriginal. That, like, spoiler alert, that one fucking killed Spock's mother, blew up Vulcan, killed Kirk Spock.
Real spoiler alert. I hope that he gave you more than like half a second to click away for Star Trek the movie.
I think at this point, if you haven't seen it, that movie's... But it did so many... And I'm not saying you have to like everything it did, but it tried. Like, it really, like, completely rewrote everything. This one just... I'm like, okay, we just hit almost all the same notes again. You rearranged some of the pieces.
You know they were too afraid to be too different. And you can see why. The internet is just like, not even gonna...
Fuck those guys!
Oh, no. I agree. But you know that's what they were afraid of.
If they played it safe because of that... Fuck that noise! Like, just ignore them.
Look at their advertising. The advertising. The last commercial they did is "Get over it." It's like, of course they're terrified of.
But see, this gets my point. Why do we keep giving those guys a platform? Like, I feel like every time people respond to them, it just explodes even further. And I'm like, let them go to obscurity.
Wayne Fishner would have been an amazing Shredder. Turtles 2 really proved that. Oh, you would have been amazing. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked.
But I feel like, and I'm just saying, okay, so if you play it safe, to me that does not advance the whole, like, women need their own Ghostbusters thing. If you just do it again. I feel like why don't we fucking remake the Gem movie and do it right? Like, there's properties out there, like, Ghostbusters was a fine film.
Well, I'll say
there's properties out there that if you're gonna remake and add females to them, you could make them way better.
I really did feel, though, that this was not quite, and I think it did just enough of it, is that it did not feel like a remake. It really did feel like a reboot, and there is a difference. I used to be one of those people, it's like, what's the difference? But there is. That awful Planet of the Apes with Tim Burton, or the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, clearly reboots. Those are not connected to the original movies, and those movies are classics and masterpieces. But for the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, those are good reboots. And this is clearly a reboot. It's not a remake. I think it really would have died if it was a remake, but I don't see it as such. But yes, there are clearly callbacks that are kind of
there's so many callbacks that it's like I don't even know what to go, but somewhere between remake and reboot to me, because there's so many like callbacks to it that I feel like I saw the like Ghostbusters 1984 just written as a fan fiction, and I feel like it was the sort of fan fiction where it's like the author, the fanfic writer, wrote 4 really awesome female characters and knew how to write proper characters, but didn't know how to plot a movie. Like, and then just kept inserting callbacks to whatever they were fanficking, and it just...
Okay, I want to say right now, though, not even kidding, I think some will disagree a little bit. This might be the best use for Slimer I've seen since the original.
Slimer was
my
great.
God, remember him in 2? It's like, he's eating, he's driving a bus, he's got the little hat. They bring Slimer back in this, and they know what to do with him. He just... well, first of all, they hold off.
It was a perfect comedic moment.
Yeah, they hold off. They bring him in at the end, and then what he does, I'm just like, welcome back, Slimer, I missed you. He was not like the dumb kid show thing.
Yeah, having lived through Slimer in the real Ghostbusters, I'm like, oh, thank God we knew finally what to do.
There's one kind of joke I didn't know how to feel about involving a female Slimer that I went, but then I'm like, no, I'll go with it. I'll allow it. The rest is so funny. I'll allow it.
Slimer's got to get some loving too.
No, and it completed that joke, the joke that they follow through with. So I was just like, no, I'm fine with this.
I don't know. I feel like I wasted a few bucks and I did not have an awful time, but I definitely had a sort of time where I'm just like, that was funny. Wait, what the fuck? Like,
yes, that was constantly my reaction too. Like, I'm legitimately really laughing hard at certain scenes and going, what?
So, I mean, basically just typical kind of dumb popcorn movie, which, after all the hoopla and debate, if that's what you want to either fucking rip apart or defend like it's Citizen Kane with women in it, like, I don't know. I guess, like, I'm sitting here and I'm watching TV and I'm like, I've got Jessica Jones, I've got Steven Universe, which I think has a very sort of feminine edge to it. You know, we had Legend of Korra, which I thought was a lot of fun. It's like, why not come up with something original that you can cast 4 women in? And start something new for girls. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, you could argue they've been banking on the controversy. I mean, it certainly got a lot of attention. I mean, this could just
no, and that is the hilarious thing about this is all the trolls who started this shit in the first thing. Broads, like, bravo, fucking oh!
You have made this a huge hit.
Guaranteed this movie now is going to get the sort of like publicity and infamy. Like, see, that's the thing. No such thing as bad press. Like, it just, the controversy, like, that's the thing. There was no...
Well, Mel Gibson would disagree with you. But
well, okay. But there's no controversy over Gem. That movie just came and went, and people just said it
Nobody gave a shit if you didn't want to see that
moved on. But all of the comments like this and the way like it just kept going in circles.
Actually, Gem got a lot of hate. It got
but not as much as a lot of hate. But there was no controversy. It's like, oh, we hate this. There was no, oh, where's chicks in it? Like, it just... That sort of thing kickstarted this whole fucking argument, and it's like, good job. You just guaranteed that this thing's gonna, like, you know...
You guaranteed everyone's gonna see this movie.
Yeah, you're gonna be hearing about it for a while, when the reality is, if you probably didn't say anything, this probably would have come and went. Judging, like, by what I saw, the audience we saw with, I don't know, there were some big laughs, and then there were long stretches where you could just hear, like, crickets chirping.
Yeah.
And you could tell that the movie was trying to be funny, and the audience, and there were a lot of women there, too.
There were kids there, too. And
the kids, there were just long stretches with no laughs.
Yeah, just like just that didn't work, movie. You know, but it's okay, because shortly another laugh would come, and it'd be like, okay.
And then it would work, so...
Then it'd be dry again, then another laugh would come.
This just would have been another middle-of-the-road movie that probably would come and go and probably be kind of semi-forgotten. But nope, we all had to go apeshit over it, and now it's just gonna live in infamy and get plenty of free publicity. Well, you could see it when they're doing things like, girls rule, get over it. I'm like, good job, trolls, that was all you. Good job. Fan-fucking-tastic.
I pretty much say, if you're die-hard Ghostbusters, don't want... You know, you're fine the way it is, you know, don't want anything to do with it, you're not gonna you're gonna be like my mom, that sucked! You know, you're not gonna like it. If you like Ghostbusters 2, you'll really hate this.
Why? It was Ghostbusters 2 again.
No, but that's it. But it's not the same people, so it's bad. It's bad.
Oh, it's broads in Ghostbusters 2.
Dig up Harold Ramis and get him in that suit.
Honestly, if you liked Ghostbusters 2, I don't know what your excuse is for not liking this film, because, quite frankly, Ghostbusters 2 ripped off Ghostbusters 1984, which this film does. Yeah. Ghostbusters 2 kind of dumbed it down and made it more kid-friendly, which this film kind of does. There's no excuse not to like it if you're one of those people that's like, I like Ghostbusters 2 more than the original, and they exist. I have found this out recently. I thought that was only myth and legend, but...
No, I found out there is a fan base for it. Like I said, I have a little bit of a soft spot for it.
Oh, I do too.
I love Yanosh. I love Vigo. Yeah. Anyone ending with an O in that, I really like.
Ghostbusters
it's not it's an awful movie.
Yet another great comparison. 4 good characters you like, and Peter McNichol, who's amazing in that movie, with a movie around them that is not that good. Mm-hmm. Like, they're amazing. Yeah, they're amazing. Just like the 4 women in this. You know, they're amazing. Everything around them is kind of like,
and actually, the 5th guy, I would argue, Chris Hemsworth, is pretty funny. So he can be Janosch.
Okay. Did you get that? Because I feel like all of those jokes went over my head. What is his deal?
Okay, he's obviously a dumb model using this as like his side job. But I will make the argument that there are times, even though I laughed at a lot of, there are times where they make him way too stupid.
I didn't get that.
There's a part where there's loud music, and he goes, oh, too loud, and he's covering his eyes because he doesn't know the difference between his eyes and his ears. That's too stupid.
I miss Janine.
I thought he was fine, but some of those jokes, again,
I don't need a male Janine, but I just... That whole, I didn't know what they were going for with that.
They're just going for jock model, is in between job kind of thing. But half the time it worked, half the time I'm like, that's just too stupid, guys. But when it worked, I laughed. I thought it was funny.
Are we saving a spoiler corner, or do we want to try to do it
I think, I don't know if there's enough for a spoiler corner, so I think we can just sort of say from here on out.
I don't think it's gonna ruin anything.
It's gonna get ruined. I can't see anything getting ruined.
Okay, so just know from here on out there will be things that you may find spoilerish, but so he does this bit where he makes the cops he gets possessed by the villain.
The ghost, yeah. Now is a ghost.
Uninteresting villain. Gets possessed by the villain, and he makes the cops all do a couple of dance moves.
Oh god. Oh no. Now that was the credits. Thank God.
And in the end credits they show this whole crazy dance.
And clearly it was a deleted scene, and thank Jesus. If they left this in the movie, I might have just been like, bye.
But even before they showed us the whole dance, all I could think of was the fucking mask. I'm like, I've seen
Cuban
this.
Pete.
I'm Cuban Pete. I'm like, and I was like, are they really gonna do the whole Cuban Pete bit? And I'm like, oh, thank God they didn't. And then in the end credits, I'm like, oh my God, they did. They just cut it.
Yeah, they just cut it. I'm like,
I can't
thank God.
that.
Oh my Lord Jesus. That would have been awful.
So towards the end, they do the Stay Puft Marshmallow. He's a balloon. I'm like, another callback. That one I didn't find that offensive, though, just because I'm like, all right, well, at least I could see that as a balloon. And it also led to one of the great lines from What's-Her-Face playing the EGOT character. It's like, I always envisioned this is how I was going to die.
I always envisioned this is how I was going to die.
But, so I'm just like, okay, well, it's gotten weird, but I'm like, we're still doing their own thing. And once again, I'm like, okay, we did the Stay Puft bit. That's our callback to that. We're done.
Yeah.
Then we get a second callback to Stay Puft, and I'm like, at this point, I'm fucking done with you, movie. Stop reminding me of the other movie.
I saw it in the trailer, so I knew it was coming. And I knew it wasn't Stay Puft.
I didn't see it in the trailer.
Couldn't you guys tell that was the logo? What's wrong with you? So obviously the logo is like, look at their Stay Puft, look at their Stay Puft. I'm like, it's the logo!
And
it's so clearly the logo.
Just a waste of fucking time. I'm just like, this climax goes on forever. And
he just kind of leaves. He gets big. I love when he's getting bigger and all the windows in the building are being blown out. That was cool. But when he breaks out, he just sort of goes, roar! Walks away. He walks away from the Ghostbusters.
Smashes a couple buildings. And then the whole thing, choose the form. I'm like, oh my God, stop. Fucking stop. I thought you were going to be your own thing. No, it's just... Again, I feel like it's kind of insulting to all the women who wanted Ghostbusters. It's like, well, here's what you get. Ghostbusters hand-me-downs. But we gave you 4 chicks! So, celebrate us! Go see the movie.
I still think, honestly, and this is the first time I started thinking about what if, kids watching this movie. It's PG-13. I don't think there's anything super offensive in it.
There is no reason this should be PG-13.
I'm sure there's some
Ghostbusters 1984 is a more hardcore film than this, and that's PG.
And I'm thinking, these women have distinct personalities that work well off each other.
They're a lot of fun.
They look cool. They actually do physical stuff in the suits. Again, unlike the guys.
Yeah. When Melissa McCarthy tests out that proton pack, I was laughing my ass off.
I love that you can punch a ghost now. And I'm like, okay, I know there's going to be Ghostbusters that are just that new one doesn't count as... You better incorporate some of these gadgets. These gadgets are awesome. And they're so friggin' cool. And they're testing them out as great. And I'm like, no, if you want to do that bullshit, okay, but you're missing out on some really cool kick-ass gadgets here.
They're great. They deserve a better movie. That's my problem. I've never seen a movie just try so hard to just kind of destroy itself. When it's got all the ingredients kind of there, and then it just keeps kind of kicking itself in the nuts.
I came out a little bit more optimistic on it, even though I still say I'm 50-50, but leaning towards positive, which I didn't think I would.
Okay, if you took out all of the references to the old film, like, I automatically would probably be bumping this up to a B, but that kept rubbing me the wrong way.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, and it's not just because I'm just like, oh, well, that's not fair to the 1984 film. Quite the opposite. I thought it was really fucking unfair.
No, but I mean, I was getting to before is that I think, like, kids and women and stuff like that, you know, going to see it because they want to see four women, not the token, not one of two in a team of men or something like that. You know,
when they stick to that,
an actual
it's good.
group. But I think when it's like, when you say insulting the women, I totally get what you're saying by that. I think they're gonna focus more on the fact that these are unique characters, that they are
I hope
likable,
so.
and they are a team. Even though I do agree with what you're saying, I don't think it's as much trying to keep them down as much as, hey, we're just afraid for this to be its own thing. And I'm with you. I think the stronger thing would be totally have it be its own thing.
But it serves nobody, because as a fan of the 84 film, it bugs me because I'm like, great, now I got to see all these people old, and in this movie, which is just weird. And as somebody who really wants to like this film, I'm like, well, this is really unfair to this movie. Like, it's distracting, and, like, I was like, there are so many scenes where I was really enjoying it, like, getting wrapped up. There was a short period of time in about the first third where I'd kind of even forgotten about the 84 film. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what? I'm like, all right, this is its own thing. I like that.
I was not comparing it to the original until it compared it to the original.
And then Bill Murray shows up. Yeah. Or then they do this just so, like, captures what, like, this movie does wrong. It does this, it's like, we need to find a place to live. So they go to the fire station. I'm like, oh god, okay, I guess we're gonna do the whole fire station thing. I'm like, you can go to any location and we're gonna do the fire station. So they go inside, and then the woman explains the price, and her reply was so funny.
Very funny.
Go to hell.
Oh,
like, it was just one of the best deadpan readings. So then they go into a Chinese restaurant in the second floor, and I'm just like, okay, I'm digging this, and I was enjoying, like, everything.
The one that always delivers late, and even when they're on top of the restaurant,
yes.
they still get it to her late. That is hilarious.
And like, that whole part of the movie, I'm like, okay, this is working. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really even thinking about the other movie. Like, it just, and then Bill Murray shows up. I'm like, the fuck? And it just totally took me out of the film. And I'm like, well, at least they didn't do some things, like, at least we don't have, like, the fire station. And wouldn't you know it, at the end, like, oh, we can have anything? They move into the fire station. I'm like, fuck! I'm like, just stop! Do your own thing! I'm like, and they fucking did it at the end. They reneged on it. I'm like, son of a bitch. And like, we gotta have the fire station. It ain't Ghostbusters. No, you don't! You don't fucking need the fire station. You can make Ghostbusters whatever you want now. That's the point of a reboot.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like when it does something really different, really out there, is its own thing. But we're just repeating ourselves now. So, yeah. I mean, on the whole, like I said, just 50-50. I mean, I'd say about as total a 50-50 movie as you can get.
The special effects are a weird mixed bag of... The first Ghost I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, she's creepy looking. The whole uncanny...
She looks totally fake, but you're right.
It works because it's Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
It's the uncanny...
The eyes, especially.
The Uncanny Valley-ness of it actually helped that Ghost a lot, because you're just like, oh, it's creepy and there's something off because it's CGI. And I thought, well, maybe we're in good hands. Like, maybe the film will kind of, like, look like this. And then she just barfs a bunch of slime. I'm like, all right, that was kind of dumb. But the first one had the scare moment with the skeleton or whatever. I'm like, okay, we can go on. And I swear every Ghost since then, they had
got a little worse.
Yeah, the next Ghost was the prisoner... and with the electrocution, I'm like, all right, that's looking kind of lame.
And then the mannequin was kind of cool, but it turns out it's a dragon.
Yeah, the mannequin was great, okay. And then they turned it into this fucking, like, I don't even know. It was too cartoony even for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was very...
Because I'm not going to say that the special effects are a total fail, because people, it looks cartoony. I'm like, well, they looked cartoony in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they always look cartoony.
You know, this gave us Slimer,
but this is very Scooby-Doo, bright, super colorful, which, again, I get it. Its own thing. I got it. But yeah, I wish they all looked like that first one somehow. Like, they keep having that connection. Even like you said with the prisoner, it's like, okay, it's looking a little faker, but whatever. I'm actually digging this. Okay, do we ever get that shot from the trailer where there's that room filled with ghosts? I don't think we ever did.
I don't think so. And the whole climax was just a clusterfuck of like a couple of ghosts that looked interesting, and a lot of the fakest thing is that building. There's like kind of a Zool type Spook Central building where all these little green ghosts are flying around. It is I'm just like, we are in bad video. Like, the Ghostbusters 3 video game had better looking special effects. I'm like, this is just fucking terrible. But the thing is, it was another case where I'm like, I could see a good movie trying to get out, because I'm like, if you just tweak these special effects a bit, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Like, because the Ghostbusters effects were cartoony, and I don't care what people say. It's a perfect movie, and the special effects still hold up. A lot of the effects,
the stop motion dogs do not
hold up, but there are some effects in the '84 film that do not.
I still say like 90% of them do, but there's that 10% where it's painful.
Oh, no, I'll go 80%. There's 80% that holds up, still looks kind of flawless. There's about 20% in that movie. The stop motion on the Zool dogs, the matting of them, like when that dog crosses the street, it's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, it's really bad.
To watch some of the mat.
It was bad even back then.
Some of the mat work, like, is not really good. Like when Stay Puft stomps and
Oh no, but the keying, like you can see through his foot
terrible.
half the time. Yeah, on Stay Puft.
So no, it's not perfect and flawless. So I'm willing to give this movie a pass on some things, but I'm like, they just went way too overboard. Just no fucking restraint. I really like the Egon character and Slimer like steal the show in the climax, and then the final thing, like I actually really liked what's her face going after Melissa McCarthy.
I thought you
it was
could.
Aaron.
I thought you could cut that, but
Aaron and Abby, I think they were two. I thought I'm like, okay, this is a cool effect.
It at least ties in a little bit to their
ties in a bit, with the connection. But again, it's just like, they should have explored that more, because they'd have.
I would love to see more of that world. Yeah, when you see the ghosts against the mirrors and stuff, I was like, I want to know what's
beyond there.
It's kind
of a random callback, like, I won't leave you this time. But I felt that, like, they kind of established it in the beginning, but I felt like it was kind of glossed past quickly. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is the big moment where.
That was kind of my thought. I didn't really.
But I like the idea. Like, I'm like, okay, that was different. Like, can you imagine going through the Gozer portal? Like, and pulling Ray or somebody back. Like, I mean, there's things that the CGI allows you to do, and that did its own thing, and I'm like, that was really cool. And then we go to the fire station, and then Ernie Hudson shows up, and then Sigourney Weaver shows up in some cameo at the end that's read. And, like, every time that happens, I'm just like, just fucking stop.
So, yeah,
it is what it is.
If you think you're going to hate it, you're probably going to hate it. If you think it's going to be great, you're going to like it.
I can't say...
If you don't know, you'll be somewhere in between. I can't say where you're going to
I can't say it's a bad movie. I can't say it's a great movie. It's very middle of the road.
For me, it was...
C plus, B minus,
maybe. It was totally entertaining enough for someone who honestly did not like the idea of a reboot and didn't like the idea of getting sucked in, but I was like, let's see. I'm glad I saw it. I'm definitely glad I saw it.
This is a case to be careful what you wish for, because I did not want to Ghostbusters 3. I'm like, we're done with these guys, and we're like, we're going to reboot it with all women. I actually was like, oh, well, that could be interesting.
I was with that too. I'm like, you're going to do something. No, but I thought it was going to be like a sequel. The idea of a reboot, I'm like, okay, but I was actually liking it okay. And like I said, it was the callbacks that were really ruining it for me.
I was on board, and now I'm just kind of like mildly disappointed with the result of just, okay, well, we didn't really advance this really much farther than we did from the first two films.
But compared to the trailer, I'm much happier. I thought what I could have gotten.
Yeah. Nowhere near as bad as the trailer. Not the worst film ever made. Not really great either. You know, it's not. I know
it's right in the middle for us.
Some people are gonna say, "Oh, it's garbage." I'm like, we watch garbage for a living. Okay, I could show you some real garbage.
Well, and I can tell you, if you're looking for stuff to hate, you will find no shortage. You totally will.
Yeah. But people who want to go into hate it, you're right. Will definitely find
very easily find stuff.
But they'll go in with that bias, and I feel like people who
it's not gonna sway them.
I feel like people who wanted to like it because, like, oh, it's women and this and that, like, I feel like that bias may skew you a little more towards what I would think at this point, having seen it now, maybe overly positive. Because I'm, like, looking at this, I'm like, this is really a flawed movie, but I don't know. Then again, I really did kind of want to like it, because, like, that was the only interesting thing about it.
Mine's more optimistic. Like, I'm half and half, but I'm leaning towards, I like this okay. I actually enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. It had a lot of creative stuff. I like those four. I think I like it. Very, very
I like
funny.
it okay, but a little lower.
It's just getting past those groaners, that were so painful.
It's not dead. It's not dead 50-50, because that would be almost a fail. Definitely that. upper 70% range, which is where it's skewing on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's like, I know now why. I'm just like, because I was kind of like, oh, come on, critics, can't you just do one or the other? Like either 90% or 20, just so we could shut one side up for a second. But no, I get why it's at 75%, because it's just so
no. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Hopefully you can figure out whether or not this is the movie for you. So that's about it. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
I ain't afraid of no ghost. I'm a misogynist, I guess.
You just quoted the worst Dan Aykroyd line in the movie.
That was the worst. Yeah, actually, Dan Aykroyd has a cameo. That is
that is the worst
line in the movie. Yeah. Again, another reason I fucking hated those.
All right, we already said stop. We're done.
You know what?
No.
Turn off. You're a misogynist.